Okay, I'm going into my Thursday newsletter. I'm just getting rid of that. And we're going into the world's biggest killers. And the world's biggest killer are not what people think. Today, it's the liver. And that's not the sixth biggest killer in the world, the liver. And that's liver disease, of course. We've gone through cardiovascular disease, which is the world's top killer, respiratory diseases, cancers, dementia, even diabetes. But now we're on to the liver, and that's today's talk. It's the sixth biggest killer of all killers. That's the diseases of the liver. And I'm taking you through my liver disease plan today. And now there's lots of types of liver diseases, and it all depends on the classifications, but the number of deaths could be between 1 and 2 million a year. And of course, it depends which figures you include, which figures you don't include. Some are labelled hepatitis types A, B, C and D. And unfortunately, I don't have a book yet for the liver because it's not that. I don't know why people haven't come to us for the liver plan, because I've had a liver plan, I've had very good success with it, but people haven't come to us over the years. But I will get a book out now. But it is quite rare. But of course, all death is quite rare, really, when you think about it. And, we'll have to put coronavirus, because coronavirus is an absolute, tiny amount of people dying compared to the people that are dying in the world from lung disease, heart disease, and all these others that I'm talking about. But anyway, the liver plan, it's a relatively straightforward plan, and it helps most people to avoid or to recover from the 6 of the biggest killers in the world. And I'll state clearly now that, like most diseases, it is lack of nutrients, healthy foods, and other lifestyle factors that are the greatest risk factor for any disease, and especially liver disease in this particular case. And there's no exception, in spite of what the medical system will tell you. The medical system will tell you, it's genes, it's this, it's that, whatever. I'm going to go through the causes of them now. And so the causes of liver disease, the number one cause actually is alcohol poisoning. And alcohol is a poison. You don't want it to be, because it's nothing like a nice little glass of red wine, with a meal. But alcohol or poisoning, and you have lots of it. On top of that, if your diet and your lifestyle is really bad, then all these things will come together. Now, these are the causes. Now, alcohol, I'm going to go through them slowly. Alcohol poisoning, that's, of course, you can get some pure alcohol and kill your liver even faster than many glasses of wine. But hepatitis types A, B, C and E, those are viruses, and I'll come back to those in a little while. Fatty liver disease, and now that's diet related, and that means you're eating too much sugar, carbs, that type of stuff. So it's not from eating fats. I know it sounds like it should be fats that you're eating, but fatty liver disease is caused by eating carbs and sugar. That's bread, pastry, biscuits, breakfast, cereals, and all sugary things. Autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune disease is where you have a dysfunction of your immune system and it's not working properly, and it's not able to deal with the normal everyday infections that we get, because if you've got a healthy immune system, nothing can touch you at all. There's another disease called cholangitis. It's a bile duct infection. And that can also cause a dysfunctional liver. Overdose from paracetamol or Tylenol. Paracetamol in the UK, Tylenol in the USA. Those are drugs. And if you consume too many of these, then you can poison your liver. In fact, if you have 25 to 30 paracetamol, usually you could just die and that's it. But you don't die straight away. It takes up to a week to die, but you are going to die unless the doctors are, how can I put this now? They do better than the medical system, because if the medical system says, you've got paracetamol poisoning, you're going to die, they just leave you to it. Whereas if you have super nutrients, you can recover it, and there's lots and lots of people have recovered from paracetamol, Tylenol. Another one is adverse reactions to drugs, and it could be drugs for epilepsy. Those are the most common ones. Antibiotics, you might have a adverse reaction, and NSAIDs, which is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. That's all sorts of painkillers and anti-inflammatories. Chemical exposure, if you are working in a factory or you're working in chemical, say cleaning chemicals, which are quite toxic, some of them, all sorts of chemicals, that can also damage your liver. Having mushrooms, poisonous mushrooms, that is, not ordinary mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but if you go picking mushrooms in the field and you don't know what you're picking and you take them home and cook them, you can actually kill your liver. Overdosing on herbal remedies. Herbal remedies are absolutely amazing. I have all sorts, I use all sorts, but if you just go crazy and say, well, one of these is good, so 50 of them is really good. It doesn't work like that. And a very rare cause of liver disease is excess copper. It's usually in the water supply for some strange reason or other. But those are the main ones. Now, symptoms of early liver failure can be general malaise or a feeling or lack of wellness, just not really feeling good. Of course, some of these can apply to lots of things. So, obviously you've got to go through a whole, all 6 of these items. And if they all tick the boxes, then you've got to get your liver checked out. So persistent tiredness, drowsiness, sleepiness, confusion, disorientation, and irrational anger. That is a really important identification of a liver problem. Irrational, people become angry and they just don't know why, and the slightest thing, and it's literally a liver problem. I mean, you will find this in alcoholics, of course, and you think it's the alcohol that's making them angry, but it is in a way, except it's because it's damaged the liver, and that makes a person angry for whatever reason anyway. Nausea and vomiting, that's obviously getting a bit more advanced. Abdominal pain and swelling, and the last one, most people recognise this, is jaundice, yellowing of the skin and around the eyes, and that's a good giveaway for a liver problem. But you don't have to wait to find these things. You can go for every couple of years, which you should do. People that want to plan to be healthy, they will go for blood tests every couple of years with a full panel, and not just just a few things. Always demand. Now, if you're going to the ordinary doctors, they don't want to even give this, never mind anything else. So you may have to go private. There's lots of organisations do them. We go for one that just comes around every 2 years, and you meet at a hotel and get a full panel. But you need liver enzyme tests. That's quite important, because this, if you like, will find the problem long before you would ever be getting all those symptoms. C-reactive protein, that's the level of inflammation generally in your body, and that will also show up from the liver. And homocysteine is a deficiency of B vitamins, which will lead to a premature, if you like, illnesses, but also premature death. So you can have chronic liver failure. Now they're very similar, of course, but of course this is where you've really become seriously ill, and you've really got to move quick to get it. So that's fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting again, abdominal pain and swelling again, jaundice, the looking yellow. You bleed easily or you bruise, disorientation, itchy skin all over, and it's actually called pruritus, but you have itchy skin all over, and it's how we have something called Health Point, which is electronic acupuncture, and many times people have said, "Oh, can you treat? I've got this itchy skin," and just treat the liver points, and it goes away. But of course, what's identifying is that they have a weak liver, darkening of the urine, and fluid buildup in the arms, legs, and abdomen. And so that's a chronic liver failure. And now, the person really has to get on the case. As ever, this is what I'm about. I'm about helping people get on the case and naturally dealing with these things. But you've got to know, you've got to, if you like, become aware of everything about yourself. You should be planning good health, and any little thing that's going not perfect, then you should get on the case and deal with it. I said before, this one of the liver problems is something called hepatitis types A, B, C and D. These are types of virus, and they're caused by viral infections, and they're usually caught from infected people, and it's quite often from blood, and it's somehow you're connecting with their blood. It could be, obviously, in the old days, it was blood transfusions, because as you probably know, HIV was transmitted to thousands of people worldwide through blood transfusions, and so usually they've got it under control nowadays. The medical people, although they're still not automatically ultraviolet light treating the blood to make sure nothing is transmitted, but that's another story. Other bodily fluids or even excrement, when you're connected with other people, I'm probably talking about in sexual matters now. So it really makes sense to avoid all these possibilities as much as possible, and people that are going to be contaminated so they don't contaminate you. Just makes obvious sense. In the same way about the other causes I listed above, when you choose to follow a really healthy lifestyle plan, the one in my books, you will prevent disease. Disease is not caused by things that are outside our possibilities. Disease is caused by the lifestyle that we lead. And if we lead the super healthy lifestyle, then we just don't get disease. And if you change to a super healthy lifestyle, then slowly. There is claimed to be a 90% cure for hepatitis C. This is a drug, and funnily enough, I've got a link to an article here which I thought was atrocious. I think it was a crime, a real crime. But I was reading a report from Goldman Sachs, that's the evil bankers, and they were recommending that drug companies stop researching cures, and they use the example of this hepatitis C cure from Gilead. Gilead is the company, the drug company, and when they first introduced this cure, it was curing people of hepatitis C, or 90% of them, and that was great. They were getting $14 billion worth of business, but then the graph went down, because when you cure people of a virus, you also cure the people that would have had sex with that person and caught the virus. So, of course, instead of just curing the people that had it, you were curing the people that didn't get it. And, of course, their billions were going rapidly downhill. And so the report, you'll see in the report, in the link actually, Goldman Sachs advised companies not to research treatments that cured people, just treatments that they would have to take on a regular basis. And it's just something that come up on this, and normally I don't go off message with this, but I was so annoyed when I saw that. But when you see what's happening in the world, nothing surprises me now, absolutely nothing. I mean, then I was surprised because it was 2018, nearly 3 years ago, but nothing surprises me now how devious and lying the whole medical system is, and I've said it for many years in all my writings. So, like most diseases, liver diseases increase the risk of coronavirus because you are leaving yourself super weak, and so you've got to get yourself strong. And they appear to have different causes, but the assured recovery is reliant on the very same plan that I've researched for the past 35 years and had so much results. And for new readers now, because I know people read my stuff on a regular basis, they know who I am. But 35 years ago, both my parents died. My mother died at the age of 62, and my father died at the age of 64. A year later, my mother died of lung disease. My father died of cancer, and it left me shocked, frustrated, etc. As you can imagine. But what it did do, it got me researching, why do people die so young? Why didn't doctors save them? And of course, the reason doctors didn't save them is because doctors were not looking after the health. They were looking after the disease. They were giving them treatments for the disease, not health plans. Because health is got by having proper nutrition, having proper supplements, living a healthy lifestyle, drinking water, not drinking too much alcohol, all the things, and that's where it came from. But the beauty of all this is that it got me on, looking after myself. And now, I'm 75. That's 35 years ago. Now I'm super healthy. Now I can share it with other people, and that's all I do. I just share it with other people. It was in January, my birthday, and really. But anyway, here's a couple of three people that help with liver disease. Now, they didn't do the full plan I've got below, but there again, they didn't feel as though they were at critical risk. But anyway, I'll just read them out anyway. Hi, Robert. I love the curcumin product. I'm having excellent results and would like to go on long term to see what other results I get. I've had problems for years retaining water. If you remember, I said about one of the side effects is water retention in the arms, legs and stomach. I recently did a week-long liver detox. It was hard. I've done some castor oil packs, milk thistle, and something else as well. The best results so far are with the curcumin, and I upped that dose to 9 a day. See, with curcumin, it doesn't really matter. People take 25 when they've got cancer, so it doesn't really matter on this. But on this dose, my ankle stopped swelling up. I'm urinating more, feel better along with all the energy and strength. I have a history of heart failure after my sons were born. I think it was probably due more to liver problems than heart problems. So you can see that healing my liver has been important to me. I don't know how well Margaret healed her liver. I hope she improved what she took as well. Anyway, another one from Rhonda. This is my second order of Liver Balance Plus. It's awesome product. I appreciate you offering it. And lastly is Mary from Cambridgeshire. I have liver disease and I suffer with many of the symptoms associated with it, including weight loss, fatigue, nausea and vomiting. Since following the programme to improve my liver health, I've seen a big difference in my symptoms. I'm feeling much better already after just a few weeks, so I will continue to follow your health plan. There's just three different ones. One's just taking one thing, the other people are doing more. Just to show you that if you do anything, it's better than nothing. If you do everything, it's better than just one or two things anyway. So, preventing or reversing. So let's just look at acute, urgent liver disease treatment. Now, if you had, of course, this is where I have to be really balanced now, because if you have liver disease, such as, let's take the worst case, paracetamol poisoning, I would recommend that you immediately went for an intravenous delivery of alpha lipoic acid R, which is what has been used by doctors in the past to recover paracetamol stroke Tylenol poisoning, glutathione and vitamin C intravenous strips. And I wouldn't even waste time. If it was me, I can't recommend what you do, but if it was me or my family, I would not even go to see a pharma medical doctor at all. I would get them straight to a centre where they give alpha lipoic acid, glutathione and vitamin C intravenous strips, because the solutions by the medical doctor is just to sit there while you slowly die and pass away. But of course, if you had a really bad liver problem as well, because if you've been an alcoholic, like a guy I used to know is a footballer in the UK, Georgie Best, because he's from, well, he's not from this area, but he you know, we were the similar age, if you know what I mean. So we bowled at the bowling alley and whatever. But you know, over the years, I slowly saw him fade away, and he just drunk himself silly with alcohol and damaged his liver. But of course, you know, he went with the doctors. They changed his liver, but he carried on with the same thing. So the alpha lipoic acid, glutathione and vitamin C is for everybody. If I go for these things just for being super healthy, so you know, there's no reason not to go and get alpha lipoic acid, glutathione and vitamin C intravenous drips. But that's the first thing that I would recommend if it's very, very critical. If it's not, then just my normal plan. So as well as following a detailed nutritional plan with the proper food, water fasting, and it's been known for forever, up to 1 week is a good length for fasting. All you do drinking is water with bicarbonate of soda in it. It's all in the details in the newsletter, and it's just, you know, fabulous because you're not putting any pressure, and when you fast, the body starts to regenerate faster and your healing system kicks in. It's well known, as I say, for thousands of years people have known about that. But you need to be drinking 6 glasses of water over the day with a 1/4 teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate, or alternatively the concentrated organic mineral liquid drops. Both of those will alkalize the body while you're getting everything in reverse. You need to stop all factory processed or unnatural foods, and definitely factory made meals. These ready meals that you can buy in the supermarkets and shops, they're not food. You're poisoning yourself by putting such things in your body. You need to stop all sugary foods: bread, pastry, biscuits, breakfast cereals, white rice, potatoes, parsnips and pasta. Just stop all those and just consume mainly vegetables, leafy greens, salad foods, avocados, mushrooms, dark skinned fruits, tree nuts, seeds, legumes. And if you eat fish and meat, wild caught fish, not farm fish, and organic meats. And there's a reason for that, because both of those, they feed them on genetically modified corn. And we have enough problems with genetically modifying vaccinations without eating fish and meat that's been fed on genetically modified corn. Also add into your diet 3 to 4 teaspoons of Himalayan or rock salt daily. And you can either put it on your food or in your food, or divide it into the glasses of water. Himalayan or rock salts cover the full spectrum of minerals, whereas white salt that you buy in the small jar and what your doctor's telling you not to have is sodium. That's all that's left in. They've taken all the other minerals out and sold them as high value ingredients somewhere else, and left just with mainly sodium. And sodium, you shouldn't be having too much sodium. It's fine in the right amounts, in the right balance in the Himalayan or the rock salt. If you're able to, walking and exercise improves your life. It improves oxygenation of the blood and get everything moving, the whole metabolism of your body. You need to be walking is the very best exercise of all. Better than cycling, better than running. Walking, good long strides and walking out there. If you can't walk out, whatever reason, lie down, cycle your legs in the air, wave your arms in the air, do anything, but do get the whole body moving as much as possible. And breathing properly, because many people breathe, you see them, that's not breathing, that's panicking. Breathing from the diaphragm, which is in and out, in and out. Just breathing is critical, because you'll get the right amount of oxygen around the body, and also the right balance of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not your friend. We couldn't live without carbon dioxide, so don't listen to the global warming people. carbon dioxide is essential. It's essential for all the plants on the planet. It's essential for growing new trees that we've cut down. So there's a lot of things. Getting 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep, that's the last thing. It's really important. When you're having restful sleep, 7 to 9 hours, the whole body system is regenerating, your brain's regenerating, everything is starting to repair. It's your essential time for repairing. Okay, now lastly, I go on, don't I? I know. Okay, we have what I call an essential pack. Serenol has got the curcumin, which you heard about before, but it's also got serrapeptase for clearing inflammation. It's also got Eclonia cava, which is a extract from seaweed. But more to the point, and always, is it's got a big dose of vitamin D in it. Vitamin D is the wonder nutrient, and I know people are trying to run it down a little bit. In fact, in the UK, a famous MP tried to promote it as high doses, and he got really attacked massively. So it doesn't matter how famous a person you are, if you go against the pharma medical cartel, they will try to wipe you down and whatever. So anyway, sorry, the guy's name's David Davis, by the way, if you're interested. David Davis, vitamin D3, and just see some of the things that have been said about him. He's a scientist himself. I know he's an MP. I don't think the people knew, actually, when they started attacking him. What does he know about this? He's not a doctor. He's a scientist, and he's had scientific companies before he became an MP. He knows exactly what he's talking about because he's read all the studies, as I have. All I do is read studies. There's nothing that I do that you couldn't do. But I'm a geek and I read the studies morning, noon and night anyway. So that's the first thing, Serenol. Alpha lipoic acid R, I told you about that, getting it intravenous. But if you take it as capsules, because you've got plenty of time to get your liver, that's great. B for health is sublingual drops. This is all the B vitamins that we need, and that actually gets the homocysteine levels working perfectly. SAMI Plus, this is a formulation. You can read about it actually on the site, but that helps to regenerate the liver. And then if you're really sick and you need to really get everything in order, we've got Liver Balance Plus, which is a Chinese herbal formula. And remember I said about herbs in the right amount are fine. People that, like, if you try to throw the bottle down your mouth actually at the same time, the whole bottle of this, it probably do you harm, but in the right amounts it does you good anyway. So Liver Balance Plus. Active Life, which is my flagship product because it's got 130 nutrients. Everything that you can think of is in that formulation, from selenium, vitamin C, just all sorts of things that are in there. 130, I'm not going to remember them all. I could if I thought about it, but I'm not going to go that way. Nascent iodine. Iodine is another of those minerals. We do have a little bit of iodine in the Active Life, but not enough. Nascent iodine is the food state iodine. It's a colloid, and if you didn't take nascent iodine, the only way to get food state iodine is by eating seaweed. That's kelp and kombu, because it's not in the food chain. They have a tiny amount in milk and a few other things, but they're just nothing. The government again, or the doctors, will say, oh yeah, take 400 IUs of iodine a day. Why? Because who are the longest living people on the planet? The people of Okinawa in Japan. How much iodine do they have in their diet every day? 2,000 to 3,000 IUs. I want what they have, not what the doctor says, 400 IUs. You can have 2,000 to 3,000 with the nascent iodine because it's in drops, and you can increase that as much as you want. Last but not least is we are made out of bacteria, virus and fungus. Most of our body is bacteria, virus and fungus, and we have to look after all that, we call it friendly bacteria. It's not just friendly bacteria, it's friendly virus, friendly fungus, and friendly bacteria, sorry. So that's why we need to take probiotics, if not every day, fairly frequently. While we're recovering ourselves, then we need to take it every day till we're recovered, and then we can reduce that. As I say all the time, whether you can afford everything, one thing, or nothing, we still help you and support you to get and stay healthy. We're a not-for-profit company, and always contact us if you have a problem, and people do. Not a lot, believe it or not, but we still help people. The famous person that I helped was an engineer in Pakistan from a village who had no money to get his lungs healthy so he could go and get a job in the Middle East, and he couldn't pass the x-ray. And so just the Serenol, which is the first product on the list I've just gave you, I sent him Serenol, but he promised me faithfully he would stick to the plan, the food plan, and he did. 3 months later, he sent me an x-ray showing that his lungs were clear and he'd got his job, and he was on his way to Saudi Arabia just to thank me. He didn't need to, but I just like to know anyway. So anyway, please like and share everything I've got. The emails, share them with other people. Don't try to educate them because it's hard enough for me with my own family. So for somebody just who is just trying to educate their friends, just say you know somebody, or would you like one of his books, and because you can download my books. But please share everything. Share it on Facebook, although I'm shadow banned on Facebook, so you can't share it. You can just copy it and then repost it yourself, and that's it. That's the liver. It's just one of those things, people don't talk about it, but when you start to think about it, and the number of people that maybe drink a little bit too much alcohol, and they always seem to be a little bit angry, it's not their fault. It's their liver's just making them angry. All right, you take care. Good to see you. Sorry about the late start, but